Mic check, 1, 2. Echoey. Mic check, 1, 2. I always say echoey because it's very echoey in this office. If I was staying here for a longer period of time, I would probably start adding soundproofing. I'd get rid of this squeaky chair, but it is what it is. I'm only here temporary. So with that being said, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another daily live stream. Today is Thursday, September 11th. Today is day 676 of my journey. Question for you: how many days are you in your journey? How many of you are in here on day one? Hopefully not many. Hopefully there are a number of you who are in here who have just realized they need to continue their journey. They don't need to start over. They don't need to restart. They don't need to wait till Monday, but instead realize that you're in it for the long haul. Are you in it for the long haul? Are you in it realizing that this is a long-term commitment? It doesn't mean that you need to fast for prolonged lengths of time for the rest of your life, but what it might mean for you is you use fasting as a tool, and you then use your other tools to help you keep your weight where it needs to be. The title of this live stream is Fasting Helps, but Healthy Habits Make It Last. So I want to spend some time and talk a little about healthy habits that last. I mean, I believe I try to share what I can about making it last for me, but we'll go over those things if I remember. Before I continue, Chell, Aisha, Sleck, Julie, Lynn, Trumpstein, Miss Peaceful One, Adrian, Eric, Judy, Tanisha, For the Good. Did I miss anyone? Patty, Randall, Portia, so many regulars now. Deja, Josh, hello, welcome. Nice to see all of you here. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the support. It's really helpful to see a number of you in here showing up, being accountable. Eric says Mr. Squeaks is here for a loud time, not a long time. I love how you've given my chair. It's not even my chair. It's the chair that they gave me a name. Ronnie, hello. I see you there in chat. May's World, hello. Cap Rising, it's nice to see you as well. BMJ, welcome, welcome. So if you're in here right now, share your accountability with us. Share the good and the bad. If it's helpful for you to be accountable in this way, share. That's exactly why I'm here. That's exactly why I do this on a day-to-day basis, on a daily basis. Actually, today is day 50 of doing these live streams, and I have done them every single day. Do I have to? No. But one of the reasons I do these on a regular basis is it keeps me in check. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me honest. If you are somebody that has a hard time staying honest, and by staying honest, I'm talking about if you're somebody that uses food as a crutch, uses food as comfort, uses food to alleviate stress, uses food to forget, and then pretends like nothing happened after that. You might be using food in a bad way, in an unhealthy way, in a way that you might not even realize. So when I talk about being accountable and sharing the good with the bad, I want you to understand that what I'm asking from you is to just show up. Because those bad days, those days that you're struggling, those days that you're having a hard time, those are those moments that you need to learn, that you need to grow. A lot of those days are very important. Bad Mash, hello, I see you in there. Spike, I see you as well. Blue Ocean, welcome, welcome. A lot of people in here showing up. I really appreciate that. So as I share all of this, let's dig in to the nerd stats. Yeah? That is the wrong slide. This is still the wrong slide. This is the correct slide. Today is Thursday, September 11th. Today is day 676 of my fasting journey. 676 days of imperfect consistency. Has it been just a perfect run from the very beginning? Absolutely not. When I talk about the good and the bad, the reason that I'm 676 days in is because I don't want to start over anymore. I don't want to say, welcome to day one. Now I'm going to start. Now I'm going to restart. Now I'm going to wait until Monday. How many of you are here? It's Thursday right now. Some of you might be saying, you know what? Maybe I'll just start on Monday. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that you're just going to throw away the rest of the weekend? If the pushback on that is, oh man, I wish I could just enjoy this weekend and not think about, no one's saying that you can't have a good weekend. Nobody's saying that you can't enjoy yourself for the weekend. What I'm asking is that you still show up for yourself, that you're still mindful in what you're doing, that you still are going to be accountable no matter what. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself. Doesn't mean that you can't eat what you want, drink what you want. But if you're somebody that completely forgets, completely throws the day away, that's where we need these things to change. I ended up pushing up weight about 6 weeks ago, about 30 pounds. Obviously not 30 pounds of fat in 5 weeks, but still pushed up weight on the scale. And I've managed to lose it in about the same time through a protocol of imperfect consistency, through fasting as my foundation, but also through eating better, eating cleaner, being mindful of my calorie intake, implementing longer fasts, implementing shorter fasts, eating higher calories every now and then, but just a routine of imperfect consistency. As you look at this slide, you'll see 9 rounds of ADF, 2,700 calorie refeed days, a 7,500 calorie refeed day, 93-hour fasts, and then a mix of all of these, including a 1-week vacation. And throughout this time, having rounds of ADF, having some longer fasts, some shorter fasts, having days where I'll eat 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories, 7 days of going on vacation. Where has that put me? Still down on the scale, still continuing to lose weight on the scale. It doesn't mean it's just gone down the entire time. There have been some bumps in the road, but every day I continue to show up. Every day I continue to learn about myself and what I do. That's my hope for you. That's what I hope when you're in here, is that you realize that you're going to have bumps in the road. There's nothing wrong with that. Just show up. Show up for yourself. Show up for me. Show up for the other people here in chat. This is how you build your fasting muscle. You've probably heard me say this before. Building your fasting muscle requires you to show up. Building your fasting muscle requires you to be mindful about when you're fasting and when you're feasting. If you're not hitting a timer, maybe that's what you need to do. When I talk about hitting a timer, I'm just saying be mindful of when you're fasting, and then be very mindful of when it's time to eat. Doing those things, even something as simple as hitting a button on your phone or recording the time when you swallowed your first bite of food or swallowed your last bite of food, something like that can put awareness where you haven't thought about it before. Because let's put it like this. How many of you are in here and you decided you were going to do, let's say, a 90-hour fast? Let's say 18 hours into that 90-hour fast, You're like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I'm going to eat instead. But as you take that first bite, breaking at 18 hours, how many of you didn't even open your fasting app and said, well, it wasn't the 90, so let's just forget this ever happened? I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to worry about it on Monday. And then on Monday, you open up your app and then it shows something like 100 something hours or 150 hours. And maybe you laugh at it, maybe you smirk at it, and you're like, okay, I'll hit it now. When in reality, right? Not even reality, because that's the reality. But what you could have done is you could have still hit your timer at 18 hours. But Jerome, I don't want to hit my timer at 18 hours. What's the point of doing that? That's all or nothing thinking. You're not giving yourself credit to fasting for a shorter period of time and then controlling how you eat. But Jerome, I don't want to control how I eat. Well, that's on you. And if you're going to throw away the entire day and the entire weekend and the entire week and the entire month, that's on you. How hard is it to hit a button on your phone? I get it. Sometimes it's easier to forget. Sometimes it's easier to ignore. Sometimes it's easier to say, I'll just wait on Monday. But if you do this on a regular basis, if this is the definition of you, starting over, waiting till Monday, waiting until whatever, vacation ends, your birthday finishes, how long are you going to do this shit for? Is this just going to be a cycle for the rest of your life? Or can you get out of this cycle? How many of you are stuck in this cycle? How many of you can say that you're 100 plus days into your journey? How many of you can say you're 1+ year into your journey? No more starting over. That's what I'm hoping for. I would love for people to rack up the days and be like, I'm just pushing on. I'm just continuing on. Yeah, there are ups and downs throughout my journey, but for the most part, it's continued to trend down. Or I've been able to keep my weight in check. You'll get better at this if you show up. You will build your fasting muscle if you show up. You will gain all of this experience if you give yourself the chance, the opportunity to accept imperfection, to accept the fact that you are going to have some bad days. I want to continue to be that example of what good days and bad days. I want to continue to be an example of what good days and bad days look like. You've already seen it. You've already seen days where I overeat, where I go a little overboard on my refeeds, where I don't get my steps in every day. Actually, yesterday on Wednesday evening's live stream, I didn't even hit my step count. I only hit my step count once for the week. Typically, I try to hit 15,000 steps 6 times a week. I was only able to do it once this week. I ended up averaging around 13,000 steps. Still not the worst thing in the world. Did I restart my journey? No, that would be ridiculous if I did. Did I say, well, let's just eat everything now because you didn't hit your step count? No, right? The all or nothing mindset, if this is what you practice, if this is who you are as a person, we have to change that. We have to rewire your brain. And I don't mean it in a brainwashed way, right? I'm not trying to brainwash you in that way, but maybe what I'm trying to do is rewire your brain so that you start to develop better, healthy habits, good, healthy habits that will last. We can do extreme things. We can fast for long periods of time. We can eat clean or restrict in very extreme ways. We can go hard at the gym. but are those healthy habits that will last? Or are those temporary solutions? I'm not saying that they're not worthwhile. I'm not saying that you can't achieve huge, amazing feats like that. But you still have to learn how to do the smaller things, the healthy habits that maybe aren't as glamorous, that don't provide results right away. But stacking those small wins up will provide success in probably ways that you haven't even realized yet, because you're rewiring your brain to tell yourself, I don't always have to go hard all the time. I'm still making progress doing what I'm doing. If even doing those small healthy habits can start rewiring your brain so that you don't throw away the day, wouldn't that be a huge win? Wouldn't that be something that you want to put under your belt and be like, yeah, I was able to do this. I was able to fight the urge to binge. I was able to get out and go for a 10-minute walk. And I haven't done that in a month. Some of you might think, well, a 10-minute walk is nothing. But for some people, just doing that, getting into that habit, that's just the start. That's just the beginning. That's rewiring your brain saying, hey, this wasn't so bad. Actually, when I'm out, it feels good. You know what? This morning when I went for a walk, it was beautiful outside. The sun was still coming up. It was like a pink sky. And as I was walking by the lake, I was like, man, these are these moments that I really enjoy. Sometimes I'm sure not a lot of people like waking up at 5:45 or 6:15, but I don't know. There's just something about going for a walk on a cool morning, not having a lot around you, having it quiet for what it is in the city, and just enjoying some time to yourself. That's a peaceful, relaxing moment for me. And that's something I don't even question when I get up in the morning. I get up, I go to the bathroom, I step on the scale, I'm out the door. I'm going for my walk. I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing good, healthy habits for myself, right? Healthy habits that last. I'm 676 days into my journey. I've been walking the majority of that time. For almost 2 years, I get up every morning and I do this without question. Without asking myself, should I do that? No, I just walk out the door. I'm done. I'm moving for the day. Adrian asks, hi, Jerome. I'm becoming aware that fasting is all very well, but the transition to maintenance mode when I reach the end of my weight loss journey scares me. Do you have similar anxiety? I honestly don't at this point, because there isn't much changing in terms of my maintenance or when I get to maintenance, right? So I'll say it like this. My daily walks are still going to be my daily walks. The way I eat, the cleaner eating that I've been doing, that's something that I've been putting into practice. That isn't going to change. The only thing that's going to, the weightlifting, the sleeping early and getting enough sleep, taking care of my mental health, all of those things are intact, right? All of those things are there. So if you really think about it, the only thing that's going to be changing is the lengths of my fasts, or the length of my fasts. And it also doesn't mean that I'm not going to be ever doing prolonged fasts again, because I know that some days I'm going to eat 5, 6, 7,000 calories. And if I do that, then I'm going to throw a longer fast in there. When I get to maintenance mode, when I get to where I want to be ultimately, I will still probably be fasting for over 24 hours. I would say at least twice a week to start. And then the other days, I'll be able to fast 22, 23 hours, have a refeed, and be able to do that back-to-back days. Here's the thing. That's also another challenge, is being able to do that without overdoing it. If you think about it, right? Your weight loss journey, even your maintenance journey, it's still your journey. Don't think of it so much as a weight loss journey, but more instead of your health and wellness journey that never ends. Getting to your goal weight is something that I reached, if you think about it, in 138 days. I got to under 140 in 138 days. I lost 80 pounds in less than 5 months. But the journey didn't end, because after doing 90-hour fasts, I realized, okay, I'm not going to fast this long. I got to shorten it up. Oh, I got to go on vacation. Oh, I'm eating back-to-back days. Oh, I'm feeling stressed out. Oh, I'm feeling burnt out. Oh, I might be getting sick. How do I handle this? Do you see what I'm saying, right? The journey doesn't end. You're always going to run into something. And if you're somebody that is like me, who's had decades and decades of bad habits, it's just a continuing journey to keep fighting those bad habits from coming back and learning about yourself and growing from that. That's kind of how I see it. So hopefully that's helpful, Adrian. As I talk about my refeeds and my other DIRD stats, right? You'll see here, I have done 22 refeeds since I started live streaming every day. My refeed time is around 5 hours. My average calories per refeed is 3,900. It's a lot higher than I want it to be. Where do I want it? I want it under 3,000. That's where I want my average calories per refeed to be. But that 3,900 is in combination of higher calorie days, some days where I eat 5, 6, 7,000. But what's not even added in here are the days where I've fasted. So that 3,900 is only on the days I've eaten. It doesn't even include the average of the 0-calorie days. Average protein, 202 grams. Pretty happy with that. If you look at my last 10 refeeds, you'll notice most of these refeeds lately have been on the higher count. It was only 2 days ago when I had a refeed under 3,000 calories. And then before that, it was 3 weeks ago on August 19th. I'm refeeding today. The plan today is to keep the calories under 3,000 again. That is my goal. That is my challenge today, is to continue working on my diet. And when I talk about my journey, right? Sometimes people might watch this and be like, well, Jerome, just do 90-hour fasts and eat 6,000, 7,000 calories. But what if I told you that's not what I want to do? I don't want to keep doing 90-hour fasts or 65-hour fasts forever. Honestly, I would love to eat more often. I don't want to just eat twice a week. It would be nice to eat 4 times a week even. Because right now I'll do 3 times a week or 4 times a week, depending on when my ADFs fall. I've been doing a number of 65-hour fasts because I've also had some days where I overeat. And if any of you are in this ADF challenge, I will be just fasting every other day for the entire month of September. So even if I find myself eating, let's say 10,000 calories in a day, I'll still continue to do ADF, because my challenge this month is not just doing ADF. It might look like it because obviously it's a fasting channel, and it's not that it looks like it, it actually is an ADF challenge. But the rest of this month is also a practice of eating better, controlling my calories, telling myself, even if you overeat, can you still do ADF and continue to lose weight? That's what I want to be able to show. So as we look at my refeed and fasted weights, if you look at the very bottom here, if you look at the very last bullet, after eating 3,000 calories, I pushed up to 148 pounds, pushed up 4.6 pounds. And then this morning, stepped on the scale and look at where the weight dropped. 5.6 pounds. I'm back in the low 140s doing ADF. Did I gain 4.5 pounds after a refeed? Yeah, on the scale. But fat-wise, no, I didn't gain 4.5 pounds of fat. And then this morning when I weighed in and I lost 5.6 pounds, did I lose 5.5 pounds on the scale? Yes. But did I lose 5.5 pounds of fat? No. There's water weight involved. There's food that's still in my system. There's a number of things that are happening when it comes to that. But I love if you look at this, right? And you look at this chart and you'll see my first round of ADF gaining 4.5 pounds after a refeed and losing 5.5 pounds just 20 plus hours later. It goes to show that controlling your calories and eating cleaner, eating better can really push that weight down. Because you all know when I eat 6,000, 7,000 calories, I'm going to have to fast for longer. And it's going to take more time to get that weight down if I'm not doing a longer fast. This is the practice that I'm doing for the month of September, or at least the rest of September. And this isn't to say that September is going to be 3,000 calories every refeed, because I know this weekend, I might as well put it out there. This Saturday is going to be a 20% day for me. I'm going to be out with friends on Saturday. I'm probably going to be eating, I would say, for at least 10 hours that day. Maybe not the entire 10 hours, but I have plans then. So the weight is going to push itself up. Does that mean I should just eat whatever right now because I'm going to be eating on Saturday anyway? Do you see where I'm going with this? The all or nothing thinking. Sometimes you might tell yourself, well, I have plans Saturday. And you know what? It's already Thursday afternoon. I might as well just eat. No. Today, I got up, went for my walk, currently fasted. When I refeed today, I'm not just going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to try to keep it in the 3,000 calorie mark. And then tomorrow, when I wake up, go for my walk, lift at the gym, and fast. And then on Saturday, I'm going to enjoy my day. I'm going to have my 20% day. If I eat 6,000 calories, I eat 6,000. If I eat 8,000, I eat 8,000. But what happens after that? Do I throw away the rest of the weekend? No. I just keep going according to plan. Do you hear me? You just keep going according to plan. Trust the process. Trust the process. Did I say process? Trust the process. Know what works. Know that if you believe in what you're doing, you will. These headphones, I don't have space for them. Okay. Feels better over there. What I'm saying, right, is trust the process and what you're doing. If you trust the process, you will get the results you're looking for. You will build healthy habits that will last you. Obviously, it's more than just fasting. I talk about this every single day. Every day, I not only prioritize my fasting, but I prioritize the way I eat. I prioritize my cardio. I prioritize my strength training. I prioritize my sleep. I prioritize my mental health. In the last 50 days since I've been live streaming every day, and that's actually what it's been. Today's been 50 days of live streaming every day. My daily steps over the last 50 days is over 16,000, currently at 16,232. Yesterday's step count was lower, 12,000. Actually, in the last week, my step count hasn't been anywhere over 15,000. But look at that average. That average is so high that even on 12,000 step days, I'm still way above my 15,000 step average. Here's the thing though. I'm okay with 10,000 steps, 12,000 steps. I don't always have to hit 15,000 steps every day. And I know if I don't hit it, it's not going to derail me. I'm not going to say, well, the hell with this, I might as well eat everything known to man. Because that kind of thinking is what kind of thinking? It's all or nothing thinking. That kind of thinking can be very troublesome, can be worrisome if you can't get yourself out of that thinking. When I had or talk about the all or nothing mentality, when I first started my YouTube channel, I really thought I was the only person who thought this way. And the more I do this, the more I coach people, the more I talk to people, the more I realize that many of us have similar all or nothing type traits. When I talk about long-lasting success, when I talk about finding something that works for you, I really mean it when these habits are built over time. You can't expect to just, it's hard, right? Because I have lived this all or nothing lifestyle for a while. And even though I thought I was the only person in the world, and when I started talking to other people and realized many people had this type of mindset, it made me realize that something needed to change. It made me realize that the real answer here is finding a middle ground and still accepting the fact that I'm going to be a very all or nothing person every now and then, but I want to lessen how often that nothing part happens. Finding a middle ground, finding something in between, accepting imperfection is going to lead you to success. Sheila asks here, can someone help me love lifting weights because I hate it? Let me try to give you maybe a little nudge here when it comes to lifting weights. So when you say lifting weights, Sheila, I don't know if you think that it just means getting to the gym and bench pressing or deadlifting or squatting. It can be, but it can also be getting on the machines, trying to figure out your form. And I'm not saying that you have to lift heavy either. Maybe what it means right now is you're in this place where you're doing light weights, right? And Sheila says, I'm in the hot seat. But I say this because maybe some other people here, right, are a little unfamiliar when it comes to lifting weights. I was as well. Right? I mean, let's face it. I'm 44 and lifting weights or being active was never a part of my lifestyle. I never wanted to do anything active. I literally, in my 20s, I spent all my time sitting on a computer chair, playing video games on my computer. I would build computers. I was that nerdy guy. I mean, for many of you who don't know my history, I went to school for IT. That's what I went to school for, right? And I worked in networking and I did server stuff and I did all that nerdy stuff. And I loved building computers and I was just that person. And you couldn't get me to get out of the house to do anything active. I just was not that person. And now it's so different, right? But when I talk about lifting weights, when I talk about adding muscle, it doesn't always mean going to the gym. What it could mean too, right, for other people is if you ever watch YouTube videos about just doing body weight stuff, sometimes I tell people, hey, maybe it's just a matter of doing body squats, right? Doing core exercises at home. I mean, these are still muscle building activities. Even climbing stairs, oh my God, like I love to climb stairs when I'm getting on public transit because it shows how good my cardio health is. But even doing things like stair climbing is a muscle builder, right? Yes, Sheila, calisthenics, right? A lot of those things can be helpful as well. The secret to a long-lasting habit a healthy, long-lasting habit is to find something that you enjoy doing, right? So that's why I say, if you don't enjoy lifting weights, right? I wouldn't say to keep pushing yourself to eventually love doing it, but I would suggest finding something that you do enjoy. Maybe it's dance. Maybe it's a kickboxing class. Maybe it's some other kind of martial arts. I mean, for me lately, I've been trying to look into boxing because maybe that's something I might enjoy. And you know what? If you don't like it, you try something else, right? And actually, I mean, Miss Peaceful One said this yesterday on our live stream last night. It's worth trying something, seeing what works. And if you don't like it, then you move on, right? And that was really great advice from Miss Peaceful One on yesterday's live stream, because she had brought that up. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. A lot of what we're doing, right, is trial and error. We're trying to figure out something that works for us, something that feels good, something that we can keep with us, that we enjoy, right? And that's why when you see me eat, I'm not just eating foods that I hate. When you see me, when I talk about going for walks, I'm going for walks and I'm not jogging because I don't care for jogging. I don't care for running. I do enjoy getting on this kick scooter. I do enjoy riding a bike, and I do those things, right? I do it because I enjoy it. I'm not forcing myself to. So even for you, Sheila, or anyone else here, I mean, the importance of building muscle, I will say, is very high. I'm not saying that everyone here needs to have a six-pack and have the biggest biceps, but there is a lot of worth in building muscle. Because remember, the more muscle that your body builds, the more calories your body burns. The more calories your body burns, the higher your metabolism is. The higher your metabolism is, the more calories you burn to lose weight, or the more calories you can eat during the day. There's a lot to be said about not even just building new muscle. Maybe what it means for many of us is just maintaining the muscle that you have. So take that for what you will. Adrian also asks, hi, Jerome. Do you find that you lose fat from all areas of your body equally? No. I lost most of my weight in my stomach first, and then I lost it in my face, in my neck, and then pretty much everywhere else. I always say, and I don't always say this, but one of the things that I never realized until I started losing weight is I had a lot of fat in my earlobes. These earrings that I'm wearing, they used to be super tight on me, to the point that they would irritate me and they would like pus up and get infected because there was so much fat in my earlobes. I've lost a few centimeters all over apart from my waist. Yeah, in time, I think it's just different for everyone. I mean, I think most of us know this, but people lose fat in different places. For me, I lost most of it in my belly. Blue Ocean says, will you ever have t-shirts and merch? I have merch, Blue Ocean. Blue Ocean, go to finallyfasting.com. I have merch on finallyfasting.com. T-shirts, I don't have t-shirts yet. I would like to, but I don't have that yet. Also because I'm moving and I don't think my merch store is going to be open when I'm international. It could be if I can get somebody to run the merch store while I'm gone, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I do have merch if you want to support me and buy a Finally Fasting sticker. I was actually thinking of making a t-shirt with this and just kind of having it like, you see where this banana is? It would be here in like a black t-shirt. That's kind of what I was thinking. So maybe if I get to that point, I'll let you know. So, I think those are most of my stats. 80-20. Let's do the 80-20 rule. I always talk about 80-20 lately. What do I mean by 80-20? When I say 80-20, this is also kind of a definition of imperfect consistency, right? That means that I'm not going 100% all day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. When I talk about the 80-20 rule, I tell myself 80% of the time, I'm doing what I should be doing. 20% of the time, I'm a little more lax. 80% of the time, I'm making sure my fasts are in check. 80% of the time, I'm making sure my calories are in check. 80% of the time, I'm eating the way I should be eating. The other 20% of the time, I'm going out with friends. I'm having a couple drinks. I'm eating whatever I want. I'm not being as strict on the calories. I'm still counting my calories. I'm still giving myself a rough estimate, but that's only 20% of the time. If you look at what my 80-20 split has been since I've been live streaming every day, in the last 50 days, I've had 43 80% days. My average calories per refeed when I refeed is under 3,000 calories. Now, let's remember, those 43 80% days, only a few of those are refeed days. Many of those 43 days are in a form of 0 calorie days, fasting days. And then if you look at my 20% days, in the last 50 days, I've only had 7 days where I had a 20% day. My calories are way higher, 5,900 calories. But that's only 7 days out of the last 50. The other 43 days, I've been a good boy. I've been taking care of myself the way I need to. And so that's not even exactly 80-20. Right now, currently, that's an 86-14. 86% of the time, I'm doing what I need to do. The other percent of the time, 14%, I'm a little more lax. I'm not as strict with what I'm doing, and that's okay. So, one more slide. I forgot. As we look in the last 50 days, what my calorie deficit looks like. Because remember, a lot of this still is calories in, calories out. It's not an accurate science, but it's a good guideline. In the last 50 days, calories in, 86,000. Calories out, 115,000. It has put me in about a 29,000 calorie deficit in the last 50 days. Now, this calorie deficit has shifted. Some days it goes up and down depending on eating 5, 6, 7,000 calories. You all know I just came back from a week vacation. So my calories were a little off then, and this number went down. But now that I'm back on ADF and controlling my calories, this deficit is pushing itself back up. In the last 50 days, I am still at close to a 29,000 calorie deficit or about 8.2 pounds of fat. And yeah, I might have lost 30 pounds on the scale, but I didn't lose 30 pounds of fat. You see here, as I showed that screen, I've lost about 8 pounds of fat, which is still great. It also is just a good way to realize that, yeah, the scale can show 30 pounds or 29 pounds, but I am not truly losing that much amount of fat. And it's not like the 8.2 pounds of fat is exact either. It's just a rough estimate from what I've been trying to calculate. It's just a good way to remind myself of where I'm at, being accountable in that way. Those are my nerd stats for the day. It's time for Fit Check, everyone. If you're unaware of what Fit Check is, that's where I stand back here. That's when I show you what I look like physically. It's a way for me to be accountable and for me to be transparent so that even if I ate 8,000 calories yesterday, I'm still going to stand up and show you what that looks like. There was one day where I pushed up over 11 pounds. and I still did Fit Check. I don't know if any of you caught this yesterday, but I haven't posted a reel or a TikTok in a long time. And I posted this TikTok, and maybe I'll share it with you if some of you missed it, but I posted this yesterday. This is just a really good visual for Fit Check, just to give you an idea of where I was before, right? And this photo was taken in my last apartment before I moved out. And if you see, even when Adrian was asking about weight, I mean, look at where all my weight was on my stomach there. And this was about 2 weeks ago. Same place, same phone. And even if we pause here, because a lot of people, it's funny, right? A lot of people ask me about my loose skin. And then sometimes people just, here's the thing is, yeah, I am very self-conscious. Loose skin is a reality in my life, and you'll see it here, right? But if you look at where I was before and where I'm at now, I don't worry about the loose skin. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. And the thing is, I don't know how it's going to change over time, but if I could go from where I'm at now or go back to this, the answer is simple. I would easily take this loose skin that I have on my lower belly, on my neck, on my upper arms. I would take this any day of the week. And I'll show you again, right? Like as we do Fit Check, where I'm at. And so, where are my slides? We'll do these other photos here, right? I have been overweight for a long time. This isn't something that has just happened over the last couple of years. So as a child, overweight. As an adolescent, overweight. As a teenager, obese, morbidly obese. In my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my 40s. So when I show something like my loose skin, it's to be expected. I have had a stomach that big for decades, right? For decades. It's not like it's just going to find itself back to where somebody who has never stretched their stomach out, I just don't see it ever getting to that point. I'm also 44 years old, right? I'm also in a place where I know that the skin doesn't stretch back where it used to be. Deja, I see your question there. I will get to it, but let me do Fit Check real quick. So let's do Fit Check, okay? I'm currently wearing, if you look at this banana shirt, this is a boy shirt. That's why I get to wear cool looking shirts, because I get to shop at the boys section. This is a size extra large, and I'm wearing size extra small shorts. So try to move this. Well, it's fine. Front shot. That's a cleaning cloth. Front shot. Side shot. Rear. Side. Right. And as I show you that, like, again, you'll see, right? It's not like, yeah, I have lost a considerable amount of weight, but I do have loose skin. I still do have excess fat that I'm trying to lose, right? Like I still have, I can grab this, right? Now, it might be a combination of loose skin and excess fat, but I won't know until I get to that point. My goal is to just keep pushing until I lose whatever excess fat I have. I have no signs of slowing down when it comes to working out at the gym and building muscle, because that's really important for me. There are no signs of slowing down when it comes to taking care of myself and making sure my blood sugar is in check. I don't want to be a type 2 diabetic again. I don't want to have high blood pressure again. This is why when I talk about the journey never ending, it's truly that, right? For many of you who are here, I'm going to say this again. We can talk about weight loss all day. We can talk about getting to our goal weight all day. We can talk about doing long fasts all day. But at the same time, if you're not here right now to do it for the long run, you're in for a bad time, because we all know that fasting for an extended period of time is going to drop your weight. We know that restricting calories for a long time is going to get you to drop weight. But can you do it forever? Or will you accept the fact that eventually you have to continue getting good at all of these other things? And I'm going to say this, right? You want to push hard? I want you to push hard. But do not underestimate how good these small things that you do for yourself are. Because the moment that you can't fast for as long, the moment that you can't restrict as long, the moment that you can't exercise as hard, that's where the other pieces start to make sense. And if you don't have the practice of doing that, I'm going to tell you right now, get into the practice of fasting for shorter, eating cleaner, doing some exercise, sleeping better. All of these things make sense. You know they make sense. It isn't rocket science when it comes to taking care of yourself. Let me get back to Deja's question. Deja says, it seems like every time I refeed after a fast, it takes me half the week to get it back down to that weight when I know I was in a deficit on a refeed. Why does it seem so slow? So, okay, it seems like every time I refeed after a fast, it takes me half the week to get it back down to that weight. How many calories are you eating? Because if you've seen my journey, for me, one of the reasons I was doing a 90-hour fast, right, which is 4 days, was it literally took me 4 days to get the weight to get down on the scale after eating 7,000 calories. One of the reasons you'll see me do a 65-hour fast, which is nearly a 3-day fast, fasting for nearly 3 days, is because it will take me that long after eating, let's say, 4,000 calories, 4,500 calories. So I don't know what that looks like for you, Deja, but maybe I might need a little more detail when it comes to that. Because when I talk about doing a 90-hour fast, that's 4 days. That's more than half of a week to get the weight to go back down. Maybe the number of calories you're counting, maybe it's not as accurate as you think. I'm not saying you're not counting accurately, but it could also be a number of things. Your body could be holding on to water and it just doesn't want to release. But if you're putting yourself in a deficit, then what does it matter what the scale says, right? I know what you're thinking, Jerome, the scale matters. Of course it does. But if you trust the process and you know that you're putting yourself in a deficit, the numbers will move itself down. I mean, also, right, I've worked with many women, and many women I talk to who are either on their cycle or who are holding on to water because they're bloated because of that time. It plays such a big difference, or it makes such a big difference in that way. I can't even imagine having to go through a cycle and holding on to water and having cravings like that. I feel for many of you who have to go through that. But Deja, I hope that's helpful. I mean, I know there are probably other people in chat here who can be helpful and share their insights when it comes to that, but maybe that's the best way I can put it. Tesmo says, I would love to see an extremely fit version of you, Jerome. Tesmo, that's what I'm trying to work on. I want to see what I'm capable of. I want to see if I'm capable of doing that. Tesmo says, if anyone can do it, you're definitely at the top of the list. That's my goal, Tesmo, is to try to get like where I can possibly, like the best version of myself I can possibly be. I also want to make sure that if I do that, I don't go crazy and do this all or nothing type thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Adrian says, at what point in your weight loss journey were you able to stop or reduce taking meds for diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol? For me, literally, I stopped taking it after 2 weeks, maybe even less than that. But that was because I was doing 90-hour fasts. But that was me. And this is also coming from somebody that has been a type 2 diabetic for over 2 decades, right? I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic in 2003. And who knows how long I was a type 2 diabetic for before that. Because even when they caught me in 2003, my blood sugar numbers were through the roof. They were either in the 400s or even higher than that. They were awful then. But even 20 years later, I remember on the second stint of my journey, after 2 weeks, I was already pulling myself off of the meds. Now, listen, everyone, I'm not saying to pull yourself off of the meds. I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing my experience. Talk to your doctor before you do anything. Do not listen to me. Don't do exactly as I say, okay? I'm just sharing my experience on my end. Christian says, what do you drink on your fasts? For me, I drink water. I'll drink carbonated water. Sometimes I'll have, not sometimes, I usually drink an iced coffee every day, a black iced coffee, sometimes unsweetened tea, and I will drink 0-calorie drinks. Sometimes I'll have a Coke Zero. Sometimes I'll have a Diet Dr. Pepper, but that's usually what I drink. I do have a video on this as well. So if you're ever looking, take a look at the video or the short. I'm pretty sure you could just go to Finally Fasting and type in what I drink or something like that. So yeah. Aisha asks, what time do you plan on going live tomorrow? So tomorrow, actually, let me look at my schedule. Tomorrow, I am, why can I not find my calendar? Okay, let me just search for calendar. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Let's say 1 p.m. Central. I don't think I have anything showing around that time, and I should have some time afterwards too. So let's do 1 p.m. Central tomorrow. So around the same time that we're doing it today. I know, Aisha, you asked yesterday, and I think I was already off of the stream by then. Pie in the Sky says, I'd say stop worrying about the scale. The consistency of the fasting will guarantee results, even if the weight itself stalls. And that's a really great way to put it. I get it though. I understand. Many of us, we worry about that scale. We get obsessed over the number on the scale. I do think, right, even what Pie in the Sky says here, if you know you're doing the right things, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about healthy habits. If you know that you are practicing good healthy habits, the scale will follow itself down as well. So it's a great way to put that. DJ Castle says, I haven't seen your stream in months, but have you bounced back from that lull in the beginning of the summer? Is that when I got into that lull? DJ Castle, did you just get in here? Because I showed this earlier. And actually, I posted this yesterday. Hopefully that answers your question. I have been daily live streaming now for the last 2+ months, and I have been completely accountable and transparent and practicing imperfect consistency. So it's been pretty good. I ended up gaining 30 pounds in about 5 weeks. And then I ended up losing the majority of that in 3 weeks. And since then, I've been able to maintain while still going on vacation, while still eating in excess every now and then. So, okay. Oh, I didn't even say Q&A, right? We did fit check. I already thought I was in Q&A, but I forgot that I didn't even ask. So I'll say this. If any of you have any other questions, we will leave this part now to question and answer. I will answer as many questions as I can. I will try to help out as much as I can. In the meantime, if any of you are looking for help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com and you can book a one-on-one session with me. We can talk out a plan and a strategy to help you get to your goals. Finallyfasting.com. You can also check that if you're looking to support in a different way and you want to buy some merch or a hat, or those are the only two things I have right now on the store. But finallyfasting.com, if you're looking for help in that way, if you're looking for an accountability partner or an accountability coach, right? That is what I do. Many of us know what we need to do when it comes to losing weight, but many of us forget or don't realize how important accountability can be. It's one of the reasons that when somebody asked me, have I gotten over that lull over the summer? I have, because I have been showing up every day for the last 50 days. Today's day 50 since I've been doing these daily live streams, and I've been here every day being accountable. And that kind of accountability has been very helpful for me. So if any of you are looking for something like that, check that out. We can have a conversation. We can have a face-to-face Zoom talk, if you will. And if I can help you get to your goals, I'd love to be able to do that. At the same time, if any of you want to help support me in a different way, if you go to the link in the live stream, you can click that link and you can be part of the Finally Fasting fam. If you join, it helps support me. It helps supports me and this channel. You can get your name in the live streams on the intro. You can use custom emoji. And if you join the higher tier, you can be part of the Autophagy group and join us on our Wednesday night live streams, sometimes Wednesday afternoons. The timing is going to be a little off while I'm still here before I move out of the country. But if you want to help support in that way, I'd appreciate it. So that's all I have when it comes to that part, or my shameless plug. So any other questions? Adrian says, hi, Jerome, nothing health related, but why is there a 3-minute countdown before your live stream starts? It's to get other people to get in the live stream, to know that there's a live stream that's about to start. Usually if I just start right away, the people who want to attend, sometimes they'll miss that beginning part, but that's why there's a countdown. Pie in the Sky says, question, which hours are the most difficult for you during fasts? I always struggle 20 hours in, then around the 50-hour mark. So, you know what? I made a video about a year ago, and I had said that back then, the hardest part for me fasting was always the first 20 hours or so, like you said. But I will say now, I don't have an issue with that. I feel pretty good even 20 hours in. I think the number of hours of when it becomes difficult varies from person to person. And I think because I don't do longer fasts like I normally have, like when I do a 65 or I do a 90, now I do find it to be a little bit of a struggle around maybe the 65-hour mark or so, only because I'm used to breaking at certain times or earlier times. But before, when I was doing 90-hour fasts, I don't even think it really fazed me as I was like 2 months in or 3 months in, because it just became the norm. So if I were to say now, even at the 20-hour mark, I don't even think about it. It doesn't faze me at all. If I were to do a 90, maybe I would feel a little bit around, I would say maybe even the 50-hour mark, maybe the 65-hour mark, but it isn't the hardest thing for me to do. I said this yesterday, I've said it in the past, but the fasting part is the easy part for me. So it isn't so much of a struggle. It's more the controlling of the food. So hopefully that's helpful. Pie in the sky. Christian George says, no more Chicago. I'm still in Chicago. I'm live right now in Chicago, but you're also right. No more Chicago. I'm going to be moving out of the country soon. I'm not going to say exactly when, but just for privacy reasons, but not just yet. I'll still be here for a little bit. I'm currently, this is an office that I'm renting out for a short period of time. And then I will be moving out of the country, and we'll see what things look like after that. Blue Ocean says, how long will it possibly take to lose 100 pounds as a female with fasting? This is a very open-ended answer, and this answer can vary in so many different ways because, right, think about me. I needed to lose 80 pounds. I lost 80 pounds in 5 months, right? But imagine if I was 250 pounds heavier, I probably would have lost that 80 pounds even quicker at the rate I did it. I lost the 80 pounds even at a lean weight by then. For you, Blue Ocean, I wouldn't even worry about how long it'll possibly take. I think if anything, all it means right now is start taking action. If you're somebody that is doing the all or nothing thing, pushing really hard and then giving up, my only advice and suggestion to you is to start practicing imperfect consistency. If you need extra help with that, please feel free to reach out and I'll be able to help in whatever way I can. I'd also just say, I think I've seen you here before, Blue Ocean. So I live stream regularly. I try to put as much knowledge and advice as I can for people. So, I would say kind of lean on that too. But how long will it possibly take? It depends on how much you weigh and how lean you're really trying to get, because I think we all know the leaner you are, the harder it is to get that last bit of weight off. But if anything, all I would say for you right now is to just go, right? Practice imperfect consistency, think about good, healthy habits, and ask yourself if that's what you're doing, right? Because you want this to last. I say this to anyone here right now. We want this forever, right? We want to be healthy and happy forever, right? Or at least as long as we can. So this is why it's really important to work on building those good, healthy habits. Hopefully that's helpful, Blue Ocean. Mina says, what's the best way to lose 10 kg? Longer or shorter fast? This is the same answer, right? If you want the real short answer, the best way to lose that much on the scale is to fast for as long as you can. Obviously, right? You're going to put 0 calories in you. You're going to lose weight on the scale, fat, right? Which is the more important thing. You're going to lose fat quickly if you put 0 calories in you. If you perform shorter fasts, like I have been doing ADF, then the really important part then is how you refeed. Will you be able to make sure that you eat clean, right? When you say the best way, maybe I read that wrong, right? Maybe the quickest way to lose it is by just fasting for as long as you can. The best way, I think that depends too, because sometimes the best way means, can you do it without losing a ton of muscle, right? And that's where I tell people, hey, this is why you still need to involve strength training to remind your body that you still want to keep this muscle. Is that when you do refeed, you prioritize protein, you keep your calories in check. So the answer really depends here. But for me, I lost 10 kg, right? Which is what, around 23 pounds, 22 pounds. I lost that. At one point at the very beginning of my journey, I was losing more than a pound a day. I think for almost 50 days. I think I lost 50 pounds in 50 days. I'd have to double check. It's been a while since I've gone that high on my spreadsheet. Adeline asks, not health related, but why are you moving to the Philippines? One, I'm Filipino. Two, I'm trying to learn the language. I understand the language pretty well, but I feel like being immersed in it would be helpful. Three, I've really fallen in love with traveling lately. I don't know if you noticed, but last November I was in Japan. I was in Tokyo, and then was that 3 months later? Right? Was it 3 months later? 3 months later, I flew back and I went to the Philippines, and then I went to Japan again. And now I made the decision to move there. So I'm not going to move there forever either, but there's a big part of me that wants to start traveling, wants to like really get good at. I'm currently learning Japanese and Tagalog at the same time. So it's a new adventure. I literally sold everything that I've owned to do this. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Deja, you're very welcome. Thank you for the kind words. Deja says, just wanted to say thanks for all you do, Jerome. You're very welcome. You're helping so many people, even if they aren't in the chat every day. Maybe they watch the replay and that keeps them on. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. And honestly, that's pretty much what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to clear out all the bullshit that we find on social media. I'm trying to at least remind people that we're not perfect. And sometimes a lot of social media promotes perfection. And I'm not that. And I want to show people what good and bad looks like. Christian says, how to schedule a one-on-one. Go to finallyfasting.com. I just said it earlier. I don't know if you were here. Finallyfasting.com, Christian. If you want to book something with me, we can talk. I can try to figure a plan out, right? And keep you accountable in that way. So feel free to take a look at that if that's helpful for you. Blue Ocean says, should we make spreadsheets for our progress? Here's the thing. If you were ever to book a one-on-one session with me, even one, and anybody who's ever booked a session with me knows this, anyone who's ever booked a session with me, I give them a spreadsheet that they can use. And not only do you get to use that spreadsheet, but it is a spreadsheet that I take a look at, because that is how important looking at data is for me, how important accountability is for me. I'm not saying that you need to book a session with me. You can also obviously make your own spreadsheet, right? But I'll say this too. When my app comes out, you'll have access to do things like that too. And that's my hope. So hopefully I can do that in the near future. So, okay. I think those are the questions. And I have a coaching session in, what is it, about 40 minutes? So I think we are going to call it for today. Today, just FYI, I'm doing my refeed tonight. I'm refeeding tonight. My plan is to keep it under 3,000. The question is, can I keep it under 3,000? Take your bets now. Can I keep it under 3,000 like I did my last refeed? That's my hope. And have at least 190 grams of protein. That's my hope. Otherwise, thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you to everybody in chat. Hopefully this continues to be motivating and inspiring for you. It definitely is for me. That's why I show my accountability. That's why I try to be as transparent as I can be. If this is helpful, if this is motivating, if this is inspiring for you, come back tomorrow. Show up tomorrow. Show accountability. Piotr. Actually, I remember this name. Hey, good to see you. Mr. Pixel Release Lives. Piotr, I appreciate that. Piotr knows me from my other channel. Well, I don't use it anymore, but I was pretty big for what it was back then. Anyway, Piotr, thank you. Appreciate everyone for being here today. Appreciate your support as always. We will do this again tomorrow. So 1 p.m., I told Aisha, so I mean it. Let's do 1 p.m. tomorrow, Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll do this again. I will show you where I'm at. You'll see what my refeed looks like. And that's about it. What was the other channel about? It was about phones. Look for Phone Jerome. That's That's all you got to do. It's been a minute though. So anyway, all right, everyone. That's all I got for today. I'm going to do my obligatory wave and we'll talk tomorrow. Be accountable. Show up for yourself, whether good or bad. Show up. All right. I'll see you soon. Take care.